Ever since my last video on Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which you guys seem to like a lot, thank you so much for the support, I now have almost 200 hours of this game and I am now at Legend 3. I think it's clear that I really do love this game, and last time we talked about things I would love to see changed and improved in Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Let's do the inverse and talk about things that I think Sonic Racing Crossworlds is doing really well right now. It's good to have proper criticism, but it's also good to acknowledge when something is being done right. So let's get to it. Number 1, the rival system. I think the rival system is one of the coolest aspects that they've added in this game, and I'm shocked that it wasn't present in any other Sonic Racing game. Essentially, in Grand Prix, you can set who you want to have as your rival. Your rival will be the character that will give you the most trouble during the races. You could even set how easy or how hard you want the rivals to be. If you're able to beat your rival in the highest difficulty, then you get a bigger reward. But that's not really the coolest aspect of it. The coolest aspect of the rival mechanic is being able to see all of the interactions that the characters have before the races. I'm someone who really loves special interactions in fighting games, so to see something like this in a Sonic Racing game is really cool. Especially when we get to see interactions between characters who don't usually talk to each other. I'd say Ian Flynn overall did a pretty good job with the dialogue here. Here are some of my favorites.
You're going down, punk! Gonna pay you back 100 times over for all you did!
Wow, you learned to count to 100. Very impressive. Now, do you know which one's the brake and which one's the accelerator?
Hey there, do you like to race too?
Do I like to? Are you kidding me? Do you know who I am?
Oh, why so grumpy looking? Sad you know I'm gonna win?
Maria wanted me to protect everyone from harm. Unfortunately, that includes you. That is your only saving grace.
While I do love the dialogue of these rival interactions, the only thing I'm really iffy on is the vocal direction. Some characters sound great, others not so much. I think the character that got it the worst is Amy, because her vocal direction during the rival interactions aren't the best. And compared to a lot of other characters who are great trash talkers, she is noticeably terrible and almost too nice in a lot of occasions.
Spirit of competition. I wish you a good race. Just keep the trash talk to a minimum, please.
The only trash around here is your driving skills.
I know things can get heated out there, but this isn't a battle, alright? It's just a race. Keep it civil.
I will prove to be the superior robot in all forms of competition. Cry about it on your own time.
You seem like the most mature of the Babylon rogues. Can't you keep those boys in line? Who are you to judge? Jet runs the gang just fine. You don't like how we do things? Then drop out of the race.
I may not be the biggest Amy Rose fan, but even I'm off-put by how neutered she feels in terms of personality in this game. Especially when I know 2000's Amy would never let herself be trash talked like this. Number 2, the gadget system. The gadget system is the heart and soul of what makes Sonic Racing Crossworlds so good, and I'm not kidding. There are so many different types of gadgets in this game, and you are able to create so many different combinations of gadget sets that you will have your own playstyle. Of course, there are some gadgets that are stronger than others, and we do have some meta builds, but you don't have to follow those meta builds. As long as you have a group of gadgets that really synergize with each other, you can do really well in just about any race. And I love the variety of options that are given to you, from rings to stat boosts to gadgets focused on drifts, gadgets based around support, items, and even gadgets built around vehicle types and character types. You just have so many options to work with. And it's very appreciated that they give us so many options to experiment with and find our own playstyles. The gadget system is really what makes Sonic Racing Crossworlds unique, and I think they did a fantastic job in implementing them. Side note, I also really love the fact that they gave each AI racing team a gadget set for a race park. It makes each rival team stand apart from each other, and it spices up the rival mechanic even more. Number 3, having ranks in time trials. I know this may seem like a small thing, but I think them adding the ranking system into the time trials was a very smart move. Bringing the ranking system to time trials brings that feeling of having to learn through trial and error and memorization to be able to reach the highest rank in the level. You could be satisfied with just getting an A rank, or if you want to prove how really good you are, you'd go for that S rank. And this adds on to how cool the gadget system is, because the gadgets that you use to get the best ranks and times in time trials is way different than a competitive race. So that also just adds on to the experimentation of finding the best build to get the best times for time trials. So I really appreciate them for adding the ranking system to the time trials to bring in that classic Sonic feel. Also, you do get a reward for it. For every A rank or S rank that you get a new song for the jukebox, so that's nice at least. I may not like how the jukebox is implemented, but I think the rewards you get from time trials is good. Number 4, the track design and the character balance. This one might be a little contentious, and I did get into an argument about this in the comments on my last video, but hear me out on this one. I'm sure for those who have played Mario Kart, you know that some of those games have a really defined meta. There is a best character and there is a best vehicle to go along with that character. Infamously, Funky Kong and the Flame Runner. If you're playing casually, then this really means nothing, but if you are playing competitively and you want to reach to the top of the world rankings, you can't just pick whatever you want. Some character and vehicle types are just strictly better than others. In Sonic Racing Crossworld, at least right now, that's not something to worry about. You can practically pick any character you want as long as the vehicle type and the gadget set that you use really synergizes with those characters. And I think it may also have to do with stats not having a greater importance than it did in previous games. Not saying stats don't have an importance, because they certainly do. If you have bad handling, then your turning is going to be horrible. If you have low boost, then you're not going to get much from boosting, or your drift charges are going to be slower. But it's not as drastic as it was in something like All-Star Racing Transformed. And for some, that can be a little boring, and for others, it doesn't really matter. And I think this also plays into the track design and the philosophy behind it. As you know, if you've played Crossworld, a lot of the tracks in this game feel more condensed. And you may find yourself being piled up together a lot with the other racers, and it feels so claustrophobic. Everyone is usually so close to each other, and you can kind of stray away from the pack sometimes. But it's rare that you will get a race where someone is like really far ahead and you have no chance of catching up. Sonic Racing Crossworld is a game where you are never out of the race, and I think it's by design. For some, it's a good thing because every race feels very competitive and everyone has a chance to win. For others, it makes them feel like all of the races are RNG dependent and actual good racers are punished and also bounded by luck, which I think is false, because a lot of Legend 1 players are usually in the top 3 consistently. Not saying Sonic Racing Crossworld doesn't have luck involved, because I mean all kart racers have luck involved, but good driving is still required. The tracks in this game play a huge part in this competitive feeling. They do feel shorter compared to tracks from Transformed in the first All-Star Racing game, but they don't overstay their welcome, and I think they get the job done very well in introducing their gimmicks. And then there's the crossworld mechanic, which is the big selling point of this game, where you go to another track in the second lap. I thought I would get tired of this, but no, I actually really like the crossworld mechanic, especially after you unlock the ability to have the main tracks be part of the random track option in the second lap. You can be very strategic about it. Do you want to go to a crossworld that you know that you're very good at? You can choose it if you're in first place. Is there a crossworld you don't like? Well, you can go to a random track and hope you could get a track that more suits you. There's also the frenzy mode mechanic. You could pick it to decide if you want to get an extra boost in the race, or not pick it to avoid letting other racers get a potential boost in the race. I do appreciate the multiple options they give you in terms of frenzy effects. I initially didn't see a point of it during the closed beta test, but during the open beta test, I actually grew to love it, and now I'm glad that it's here in the full game. One thing that I loved in All-Star Racing Transformed that they brought back in this game was the environmental storytelling. What do I mean by that? Well, for example, in All-Star Racing Transformed in the Skies of Arcadia stage, there's a big battle going on between the pirates. In the first lap at the start of the track, all of the road is intact, but then in the second lap as the battle rages on, part of the track is on fire or broken, and then on the third lap, it's broken entirely and the rest of the third lap is a flying section. I love stuff like that. Crossworlds doesn't have anything to that degree, but it's still there. During the second lap, you can see that item boxes are being sucked in by the warp ring, which is the reason why we have double item boxes available for the third lap. And in the third lap, some warp rings open up so you could take shortcuts, like the one in East Stadium or the one in Aqua Forest. There's also some other ones like the crane moving downwards in Crystal Mine, the entire water section opening up in Sand Road, and the invisible path in Pumpkin Mansion. I appreciate having stuff like this to make each track feel special. But I think the tracks wouldn't feel as good if it wasn't for this crucial part of the game. Number 5, the controls and physics. I'm someone who frequently goes back to the first All-Stars Racing and All-Stars Racing Transform, and while I love those games so much, there was always something about the driving between both games that I wasn't a fan of. I felt that the first All-Stars Racing game was too floaty. And then I also felt Transform could feel a little stiff when it came to turning. Part of the reason why I have over 200 hours of Sonic Racing Crossworld and why it feels so addicting is because of the controls and how smooth it feels. Turning and drifting feels so responsive in this game, especially when you have a handling car and you're able to do snaking. Oh my goodness, it is so crisp. And I'm surprised to say this, but I actually prefer how the planes and the boat feel in this game. At first, during the closed beta test, I wasn't a fan of the changes that they made to the drifting, but after the open network test and then getting the full game and playing it for an extensive amount of hours, I like it much more this way. Being able to change your trajectory on the fly while on a plane is very helpful for controlling yourself and being able to move down or up much quicker. And then as for the boat, while they did take away normal drifting for the charge jump, in exchange, they made the handling on the boats much easier. They fixed one of my complaints in Transformed about boats not really feeling great to drive in. Number 6. The item system RPS. Now, you're probably confused about what I'm about to discuss, and you're probably thinking, why are you talking about items when in the last video you was talking about item nerfs? Hear me out on this. Yes, while I think items are very punishing and some specific items shouldn't be designed the way they are, I think how Sonic Team designed for these items to be countered was pretty smart. This game has a neat RPS system when it comes to what items counter each other. For example, boost items beat warp ring items like slime, weights, and dark child. Attack items beat boost items. Defense items beat warp ring items and attack items. Hazard items can stop attack items sometimes. And ultimate items being the end all be all that protects you from everything. King Boom Boom can only be stopped by something like a shield, a monster truck, or a drill, or a laser wisp, which makes sense because it's supposed to be the blue shell type item. And then you have other ways to make items feel less annoying to deal with. For example, a high power stat, or maybe the quick recovery gadget so you can recover from getting hit quicker, or the go-to for a lot of people, the ultimate charge gadget, which is why a lot of people make their gadgets built around ultimate charge because of the level 4 drift giving you a shield. It feels like if you are able to play your cards right and you have the tools, you can combat a lot of strong items in this game, along with being a very skilled driver. So, despite how overwhelming these items can feel, at least there's multiple ways you can counter them. Would I still like the item system to be tweaked? Yes, because I still don't think the green boxing glove should be able to lock on, but I do appreciate that they added all these countermeasures for each item. Number 7, the crossovers. Yes, it is still disappointing that these crossover characters don't have voices, and it's their biggest problem right now that I hope SEGA addresses in the future. But it doesn't change the fact that it's a great thing to have these crossovers. These crossovers have gotten new people to want to try out the game, and they brought back the thing that made the first 2 Sumo Digital Sonic Racers special. We got other SEGA characters like Hatsune Miku, Joker, and Ichiban. We have other Universe Sonic characters like the Sonic Prime characters and the Werehog. Not only that, we're getting even bigger crossovers like Minecraft, SpongeBob, Pac-Man, and Mega Man, who are all coming with multiple characters and their own stages and cars. I know the no voice thing have slightly hit the cool factor of it all, but little things like hovering over the character and they have their own themes play in the character select screen and having their own victory race theme, I think that's such a cool attention to detail, and they're all animated really well. It's great to have these crossovers return. We just need the voices to make them feel more part of the game. So I hope SEGA reconsiders and add voices for these crossover characters in the future, because it would do them massive favors. Number 8, online crossplay and playing with friends. Online may have its many netcode issues, but I can never complain about how easy it is to invite people to play in this game. No weird caveats or hoops you gotta jump over just to be able to play with friends. You just put in their friend ID, send them a request, they accept the request, then you send an invite, and then boom, your friend is in the lobby with you. It's so simple, so easy, they didn't complicate things. That's all they had to do. Team Sonic Racing couldn't even be bothered to do that. Crossplay also being in this game makes it more worth it to buy, because you can just play with anyone on any platform now. No more having to depend on buying a specific version to be with the biggest player base. No, you can just be able to play with anyone on any console. And that is very much appreciated for someone like me, because I'm someone who still uses their console, like my PS5, to be able to play games. So to be able to play with my PC friends or my Nintendo Switch 2 friends, it feels great. And I think crossplay is going to be the biggest reason of why online will still be active for this game. Just having the ability to be able to play with anyone on any platform is very good. If they can start doing those much needed fixes for online, then this game could easily be the best online multiplayer Sonic game. Number 9, post-launch content and communication. The fact that we know of the post-launch content and then also seeing the changes that they're making to festivals, it makes me glad that Sonic Team has been communicated with its player base and we know what is coming out and that they're also listening to the feedback. They seem to be open to having the player base and the fans play some part in the future of improving the future of Crossworld. It makes me happy to know what we can expect for the future of this game, and that they want to try and make this game last for a long time. Having that roadmap out, it at least makes me glad to know that we're getting a lot of support this year. And number 10, car customization. I really like the car customization in this game. I did wish that they gave a bit more freedom with the decals, but I was able to make a lot of cool cars with it. I've made a lot of Sonic X Blaze type of vehicles, which that's actually one of my main pairings. There's some lore you probably didn't expect out of me. I do hope in the future they add a feature to where people can share their cars so that other people can use them. I think that would be really great for this game. So those are the 10 things I think Sonic Racing Crossworlds does well. I love this game, I think it's amazing, and I hope it can improve much more in the future. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and comment what you thought about it, and please share it around in the hopes that someone at Sonic Team can see the feedback. And if you're interested in seeing more of my content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can get a notification on my next upload. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.